Hello friends, this is Christopher Davis-Shannon, and today I'm going to show you how to play a one-drop reggae beat on ukulele. On my latest album, my friend Jacques Pellerin brought a tune to the table that was a bit outside the wheelhouse of what we usually do. We generally play swing music, but the A section of this tune he wrote had a very strong reggae backbeat to it, and specifically, it focused upon the one-drop groove. Now, this is something that I've played a lot as a bass player and with bands, but not something that I've ever had to tackle on uke. So I thought I'd share with you my process for breaking down this beat and figuring out how to make that groove happen on this tiny instrument. Let's get started. The first thing that we need to do when figuring out any groove is to establish the pulse. Where would we tap our foot? Where would we clap along with this to feel the heartbeat of the music? So I'm going to play this groove, and I want you just to tap along and see if you can find the pulse to this. Now, there's really two right answers to this, and that's the thing in music. There's a lot of times many right answers to a question, not necessarily wrong answers. I feel this in four. I feel do da da do da do da da do da. But you can also feel this in a slow two, like this. Do da da do ga do da da do da do da da do da. Either of those is absolutely fine, but we want to find the pulse as you feel it and really internalize that before we try to break further down the groove. So now let's look at the subdivisions of the beat. After we find the pulse of a song, the next thing we want to do is find the lowest common denominator, the smallest piece of rhythm in there. And for us, that's a swung eighth note, and it doesn't really matter if musically you know what that means. We're going to hear it and we're going to feel it together. I want you to mute your strings. And what an eighth note is half of the beat. So we're just going to do a down and up strum on all of this. And what it's going to be is a long, short, long, short. I'm going to play it first, and I want you to join in with me. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Join in. Down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Still feeling that pulse, right? Breaking down the beat a little bit further. So let's look at the next step to really get in this grooving. Once we've established the basics of pulse and subdivision, then the real fun begins, and that's talking about what beats are accented. You see, not every beat in our pulse is created equal. Some are more important than others, and the one drop is very unique in that aspect, and it's right in the name. The one is dropped. Beat one, the downbeat of every measure, is the least important beat, which if you think of every other style of music you play, that's backwards. We always hit on beat one. The kick drum in a rock setting almost always hits on beat one, but in this case, beat three is going to be our important beat. So we're going to play our subdivision here. We're going to accent beat three. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Join it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're going to take this one step further. Let's leave out beat one for a second. We're going to just play 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. Really just feel the emptiness of beat one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So we want to get comfortable with this awkwardness of skipping out on beat one. Now, let's look at putting this all together and how we actually want to move our hand to strum this and how we can better accent beat three with a strum as opposed to thinking about really just hitting it harder. We're going to add back in beat 1 now, but we're going to keep it really light. We want that feeling of emptiness on beat 1, and practicing taking that fully away is a great way to do that. So we're just going to have a single downstroke on beat 1. And then we're going to do our down-up strum on beat 2. So we're down, down, up. And then beat 3. Remember, this is our accented beat. This is the strong one. But instead of hitting it harder, we're just going to use a different technique to accentuate that note. You don't need to play something harder to make it accented. It can just be texturally different. And sometimes that's a better sound than just beating up a note and trying to pull a big sound out of it. So what we're going to do is chuck on beat 3. If you've never done a chuck before, it looks like this. You come down with all your fingers with the strum. Come out like this and just bring the palm into the uke, muting everything. Now this is all really one motion. It's not strum mute. Strum mute is not what we want. We want the hand coming in. And you can practice this just by essentially bringing your palm in and then just allow your fingers to come out. It's just like a regular strum, just flicking out and then stopping the sound immediately. But this is going to give us that sound of a very quick chord when we add our chords in, but this percussive sound. And then we're just gonna have a down up on beat 4. So our full pattern will be 1, 2, and chuck, up, down, up. So you have an up strum after that chuck. So again, it'll be down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up. All right, let's try that together. And this can take a little bit of time to get used to, but having this chuck in there really approximates kind of that bass drum and cross stick hitting together that we hear in a 1-drop groove. Let's try this together, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, down, down, up, chuck, up, down, up. All right, and this will take a little bit of time to get together, but it's worth doing. A chuck is a great percussive element to have in your sound. Now let's look at what the left hand is doing, because just as much rhythm comes from the left hand as it does from the right. Now it's time to add in a few chords. We're going to start on an A minor 7th chord. I'm going to use this voicing. You can use 2 open, open, open. Just our regular old A minor chord will do just fine here. Remember, beat 1 is not important, so we're going to do a muted strum on beat 1. Just mute your strings like we were doing before, and a down strum. That's it. Beat 2, we're going to do our down up strum, but we're going to put down our fingers. So we're going to have... All right, and you're going to lift up your fingers or mute the strings as soon as you're done with that up strum. Keep it nice and short so we hear. Let's try that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mute. Try it again. 1, 2, 3 with a mute. And then we're on beat 3. This is our chuck now. Shear just a little bit of the chord as you go through this, and then our up strum will be muted on here. So just our first 3 beats will now be. All right, lots of muting in here. So making sure, even if we're playing this open position here, we get mute, down, up. All right, we have those muted strums in there. So let's try this together. Just the first 3 beats of the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we're gonna come down and we're gonna play the chord on beat 4. So we'll put down our fingers on this A minor 7th, or just keep your notes open here if you're playing a regular A minor. And then we're gonna mute for the end of 4 as we do that up strum. So our right hand pattern that we were just doing is not changing at all. We're just now playing chords really on 2 and a little bit on 3 on that chuck, and then beat 4. So here's our full pattern just on the A minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see, to get this groove going, there are a lot of bits and pieces. I hope you all have enjoyed this lesson. It takes a while to get this groove really going, but the important thing is thinking about how we build a groove. Not just figuring out the strumming pattern to a song, but what really makes it tick and what makes it sound like music. If you'd like a PDF to accompany this lesson, as well as a play along for the entire form of the A section of this tune to practice this strumming with, join me over on the Tin Man's Magic Ukulele Club, where we have all of that, as well as live stream lessons, hundreds of other lessons on harmony, music theory, ukulele jazz, and all the other fun things in the world. I'll see you there.